No, this is too strong. Yeah,
It's
just
not
regular glue.
exactly the same. Oh, sorry. I didn't have the exact same issue, but I couldn't find any glue. And I felt like collage is a good choice for me, but I think I'm gonna do a little painting.
I have stuff between like MakeHaven and all these different places, so sometimes it's a little scattered. So
what do you like to do at MakeHaven?
I do the show there usually, but
Cool.
in the month of February, I was there like all Wednesday, like half a day on Wednesday. So that's a lot, especially for my daughter when we come home at nighttime. So
But you made a lot of tasty food.
Yes, I did. So on Wednesdays, I had a food program every Wednesday for the whole month. And so from 3 to 5, I would cook and do this. It's called Pan African Kitchen Lab. And then afterwards, we'd have a little bit of a break, like clean up and everything like that. Have like maybe like half an hour, and then we'd start this program. And so we would do it down there.
Wow. Yeah, it's a lot. I did follow, I didn't follow the timing, but I definitely followed something about your I mean, definitely about your cooking, but about that experience, and was inspired by the photos I saw. So were people cooking along with you? Oh, sorry.
No, that one was that was more like demo and like showing the process of like recipe testing. So I'm doing a bunch of recipes for organization that has historical heritage diets. And so usually I like recipe testing because it's something that I can do kind of by myself, and it's like a meditation. But since like we've been in the pandemic and everything is like that, I wanted to do something that connected me with people and to have fun and show people kind of the process, because people don't really kind of understand like what goes into recipe testing. And then also I want to show like the creative side for me is it's for food from the African diaspora. So there's not a lot of like stock photos of that type of food. And then also like I want to play with propping. So it was a test. And then this month I will, between now and June, I will do some more propping, because I want to go to English Market Basket, for instance. And I did not have a chance to be able to go get things from there. And then even just do a really good job of like showcasing the props that I have. So I just did, it was a test. It was like experiment. I used like white plates, brown plates, very staid kind of props, and then different fabric. So just experiment. And then now that I have a different idea of the recipes and what they look like, then I can do another round and do a better job.
I love it.
I'm going to interrupt there and actually start introducing the program. So hello, everyone. My name is Rose Simpson. I'm a librarian at the New Haven Free Public Library, and welcome to Co-Create. We have today our creative in residence, Nadine Nelson, and today's guest is Briah Luckey. So would you two like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. So Briah, I always have people introduce themselves. So, and then I talk about how I know people, and I guess I know you from the art scene. Hi, Amira.
Hi, Amira.
The art scene in New Haven. I think I probably went to your open. I don't know if did I ever go to your open studios?
I've been like, so we met at the Ely Center.
Okay.
And I think you were involved in a large scale project there, and I was just popping in for like 2 days, and you and your daughter did some plant printing.
Right. Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that was the first time I met you.
You did beautiful plant prints. Yes.
Thanks. I love that process. Working with nature is the ultimate inspiration. So I guess just New Haven. And then I follow what you're up to on Facebook. And
so you told me what you did, that you had a studio and some of your work at as an art therapist. I always love that profession and doing some of those exercises. So we can talk about that a little bit later. So I'll just fastly introduce myself, and then you can introduce yourself however you'd like to. So I am Nadine Nelson. I am the chef, owner, and educator of Global Local Gourmet. It's an interactive culinary education company. I'm also an artist, and I specialize in food art and social sculpture, which is bringing people together like this in interactive ways and creating interesting dynamics in which for us to connect with each other. And so this process of co-create is it is a different version of my office hours. So I have office hours every week, usually on Tuesday, traditional office hours where anyone can make an appointment and talk about their creative endeavors, their business, whatever. And I have some regular clients, and I have some people who just call. And this is my version of office hours to make it interesting, and also to do artwork, to make sure that I did artwork every week. And then also to show people the process that there's, Amira has also been on the show. And, there's been all different types of artists. Last week we had a jazz musician. Like Layla is a writer, Amira, I guess you'd say a visual artist, and maybe a multidisciplinary artist, so people can get a window into. Amira was at a art residency in Tennessee. So she talks about that. And so I think that for a lot of people, they don't have necessarily access to, they see that maybe the finished product of what a creative does or what an artist does. And I thought this would be interesting for people to see the process. And as Rose said, it's like free form. Sometimes we just talk, sometimes people participate. Some people ask questions on Facebook, so it's really what we want to do here today. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you.
I'm glad to be here. I'm one of the people here. I love hearing what you're up to, Nadine, and I love that term. I think social sculpture, is that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I haven't even thought about it before. Is that
I didn't coin the term.
Yeah. Okay. I love it. Yeah. So what an expansion. It makes so much sense. Yeah, I'll share that I'm an artist and an art therapist, and I'm exploring what's possible in terms of my own growth, what feels needed in women's spaces. And I'm kind of excited about emergent strategy and following my intuition, and also putting myself in intentional growth, promoting experiences and moving forward like that. And since the pandemic, the jobs that I spent a lot of time at after being an art therapist at the Children's Hospital were working with seniors and senior sites, and ageism is something that matters to me. Bringing community to seniors and respect through offering them a lot of integrity in their art making and the materials that they use, and just really respecting their creative process has been important to me. And also working with women after working at the Children's Hospital and seeing the moms who needed that outlet of expression when words weren't cutting it, and they were in a traumatic time. And so for me, the pandemic put a pause on like all going into institutional or going into settings and working with people, and moved me more towards the studio. And I'm just exploring what's possible there and beyond, and working to bring integrity to it. So yeah,
Oh yeah, I didn't know that you worked with the elderly. That's really cool. I've been like, so one of the things like in regards to social sculpture and how that kind of overlaps is that I like to do a lot of intergenerational programming, because obviously around the kitchen, that's a place in which everyone can come together and age is not necessarily focused on. And I like to, I do a lot of programming in gardens, and that's another place in which the elderly are allowed to really shine and share their information in ways that make them feel special, because I think that's really important. This week, I put out a call for, people. My friend is writing an article on Black cake. And so I didn't really explain Black cake. I should have explained. I'm gonna have to go back and explain it to people and like why it's important, I guess, to me. But
could you explain it too now?
Yeah, no, I am. Yeah, no, I
good.
am. But
Okay.
I'm gonna go back and explain it
Yeah.
on Facebook, because like I know like a lot of people got into it, and I kind of got a little messy to get a little controversial and have people answer the question. But so Black cake, and I want to do my own little history of it. I look forward to my friend's article. Black cake is a special cake, and I assume that it comes from, maybe Layla can, maybe she knows, but not to put her on the spot, but that I assume that it comes from England, and it's like a pudding, it comes from that pudding tradition. And it is ground up fruit that is soaked in wine and rum usually, but also like some people put wine, and you soak this fruit all year long, and you soak it for years and years. So I have some where I made a bunch, and I had some in the freezer, and I had some in a jar, and it doesn't spoil because it has so much rum in there. But I gave some to my friend this summer, because I don't make Black cake like that. I'm not a baker. So one of my friends who's a specialist taught me how to make it, but it's not something that I feel like I have a real facility with. But it is in the Caribbean. It is a fruit cake, but it's dense and it's very dark black. They use that a caramelization of sugar and molasses, depending on your technique. And some people, there's nuts in there. Some people, there's breadcrumbs. Some people, there's not a lot of flour. So it's very, very dense, like a chocolate flourless cake. And it's something that you can only usually have a little piece of, because it's very, very rich. And so on special occasions, like at Christmas time, during the holidays, or a wedding, you'll have Black cake. And when you kick it up a notch, you have it with marzipan or some kind of nut paste, and then you have a royal frosting. I usually take off the royal frosting. I love marzipan and that kind of, but that's really rich. So you can only have a slice. So if you go to a wedding or maybe even a funeral, people have a big cake. But by big, you don't really need like a cake this size could feed 100 people, because you just have a small piece and you put it in a box. And then if you're probably in America, you'd have another traditional cake, because no one can eat. And especially like if you're not Caribbean, you might not have a proclivity to it. So, but I love it. And it's one of those things that not a lot of young people know how to make. And so I'm trying to be better about, that was part of the Pan-African Kitchen Lab, was the whole notion of like trying to save our foodways, but for me to do it in ways that are creative. So I've been getting into like food maps, and now that I know how to do video, like really excited about video where I wasn't excited before, to be able to tape people and have like these living legacies. So I have someone in Boston, but she doesn't want to be featured. She's this older Guyanese woman. Her name is Miss Winnie, and she's like lovely and beautiful. And she's like, my Black cake days are over. And I don't want to be like forceful, but I've always wanted to tape her, and her Black cake is like amazing. But I think it's really important for people in their families to tape their elders and the oldest person in their family and ask like different questions and tape them, so they're like living, now that we have this technology, that we have these living memories.
I love it. So how would does the food always feature into this living memory that you want to collect?
I mean, when I'm in the kitchen, I like to ask different questions. Like, obviously, food brings people together. Like, I've been trying to work on different things so people don't think like I only do one thing. So, I mean, there's so many different things to talk about food. Like, I like sustainability, and I like talking about, I have a project called Stir the Pot, and it's supposed to bring people together to talk about citizen activism, or like, using your talents. And so we've been talking about ways in which, different generations, but then if you have family members in that you might be a Democrat or they might be a Republican, like, how do you bridge those gaps? So what are questions in which you can ask that bring people together, that create a foundation of like seeing each other as, instead of like we're different, the commonalities. And so, but then also like figuring out, how do you change people's minds about certain subjects, and how do you go, there's a way in which you can go about it. And I think that it's kind of sad, like with social media a little bit, that a lot of people are not very open to other points of view. And so I'm trying to figure out ways in which you can do that, where you can sit down at a table and not offend people. So, with my older aunts, I have a rapport with them that I can ask certain questions that my other cousins wouldn't be able to ask. So I've asked my closest aunt about sexual relations, but I don't ask about sexual relations. I say like, oh, did you have a good time with your friend, which is her husband, and so she laughs at me. But if I catch her at the right time, she'll talk about it. But you should talk about these things,
What other thing, and I'm happy to talk about anything. So is it about feelings that you're inviting people to talk, like when they're talking about like their experience of connecting, or sex, or food, or tell me more?
Well, it depends on what project. So like with Stir the Pot in the future, we have different sets of questions for different, we have these different activations. So go social sculptures, activations, our interventions. So we have these different activations. So we just did one called Peace Through Pie. And then we have one called, and that was just, okay, like the power of pie to bring people together. But the message was how a person like Georgia Gilmore, seemingly, woman from in her neighborhood, used her gift of making pies to make money to be able to help subsidize the bus boycotts. And so, but then how like pie brings people together, and every culture has pie, whether it's sweet or savory, every culture has pie. And through the two stories that were told, the two people that were presenting, Nancy Mcdermott is a cookbook author, and she uses from North Carolina, and she uses her platform, where she has a book called Southern Pies, but then she has other cookbooks too, but she uses her platform to talk about anti-racist work. So while she was making her apple galette and showing people how to do that, she was talking about her work in regard to anti-racism and how we as a society can come together. And then there was another speaker named Tanya Fields, and she's the executive director of the Black Feminist Project, which she also has Black Joy Farm. And she started off as citizen that wanted more green space in the Bronx, and to becoming an executive director, capturing space in the South Bronx, having chickens there, having an oasis for people to come. And she supports women and people who identify women, especially single mothers, in an under-resourced place to have resources and for them to see their dreams. And so she told her story through making peach pie. So what I like to do is like have food be disarming so people can then hear a message. And so no one wants to be really told what to do, but their stories are inspirational and everyone wants to learn how to make pie. So that's one activation. And then we have another one coming up in August called Fix Your Plate. And so it's gonna be showing people through different organizations. So I don't know if you know that I'm a trained teacher, and I'm a trained interdisciplinary teacher, so experiential. And so so it's gonna be showing people different organizations that use some kind of experiential interactive pedagogy or, you know, device around food or something else to do work, because I think that a lot of people get stuck on what kind of work they can do and how they can do it, and that it has to be kind of drudgery and meetings and boring. And I'm not about that. And so showing people other groups that do really great work about different issues, but the way in which they do work get people involved. And so Stir the Pot started in New Haven, and with the New Haven Food Policy Council about training people and bringing people together around issues of food, but then to encourage people to get involved in their neighborhood, however they want to, using their gifts. So, so it's like when you engage in that, people then know that, okay, I like gardening, so we don't have a garden here. I heard Tanya's story and I can start a garden. So.
I love it. I want to bring more activation to my art space, and also just, you know, working to dismantle systems of oppression and beginning to see, you know, like like perfectionism, you know, how I play into perfectionism and freeze. And I like this, well, it seems like your orientations toward activating is really astute. And is that, so do you, yeah, I appreciate this.
You're welcome. I have a couple of coaches, and I have one who talks about, don't look at perfectionism, look at excellence. And that has really transformed my whole practice. And also this pandemic, you know, things have been, you know, people use the word hard, like things have been hard for everyone. And so like, if we look at things as hard, or if I look at something as hard, I get stuck. And so she's talked to me about looking things as fun and looking at the joys and things.
Yeah.
And do you know like Abraham Hicks?
Yeah.
So I saw a video of Abraham Hicks, and she's hilarious to me, like her voice.
Yeah.
Said, oh, you don't like, you know, cleaning toilets, but say you like cleaning toilets. Cleaning toilets are so fun. So now, like with things that I don't like to do, I just say like, oh my God, I love chopping all these onions. They're so wonderful. Oh, I love washing these dishes. Washing dishes is so much fun. I find so much joy from washing dishes. And then it takes the pain out of things I don't like.
Do you say it in your head?
No, I say it out loud because it makes me laugh.
Yeah, it's funny, right?
Then it brings joy to this. It brings joy to this situation, and so it lifts the burden and the heaviness from it.
Yeah.
And so all these things, like I was having trouble learning like how to do video, and I still have to be a little bit better about editing, but I've learned a little bootleg version to bring me to make me understand that, okay, I can do this. And one of my videos was shown in they included it in the Today Show, today.com article. So that made me feel really good that I could, teach myself. I learned from a really good professor, but she laid the foundation that I had to go through and watch her video, slow it down, and then go back and forth. But when I saw the joy of what I could do, it just opened up so much for me. And then it started to just click and I could learn it faster.
Yeah.
Before I was like, oh my God, I can't stand doing this. This is not fun.
It sounds like, you're moving the energy by bringing the humor too, even above the fun, right? Like I guess the humor and the fun are together. And I think that maybe is the commonality between art and food too. I mean, the creative, but like moving the energy. How can I guess the activation is always a release, right? Of energy, but how much creativity can you bring? Is activation always creative?
I feel like you're doing therapy on me now, Briah.
Oh, I'm sorry. 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 God, sorry.
I'm just, you don't have to say sorry. I'm just joking. It's like, but you have to talk too.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Yeah. Right. Well, I was thinking about I was talking about perfectionism and moving away from perfectionism. My energy gets stuck in perfectionism. Not that I've ever been perfect, but that, ideal that's been passed down is so suffocating. And I think and this is where like emergent strategy comes in, the following my intuition and learning and taking more of a chance. And what is a chance? I mean, the chance isn't really a chance, I guess. Not taking a chance is too much of a chance anymore. But moving away from the perfectionism and just putting something out is, I guess, one of the openings of the pandemic for me. And that's enlivening. And I feel like I'm activating myself and what's possible if I activate myself beyond myself.
What kind of art do you make?
What kind of art do I make? These days, so historically, these days and historically, I've been pretty much into like painting people in like relationship dynamics. So gesture is important to me. And when I was a kid, my mom had my astrology read, and the astrologer said I'd be a psychic portrait painter. And I love painting people's faces. And I feel like in my painting, I bring, to life this myriad of people. And it just feels alive and exciting and rich and diverse. And these are the faces that I'm bringing to life from my imagination. So that's kind of what lights me up. But giving myself permission is really big to get messy. I think art is where I practice making mistakes. And that's when things are alive, right? Can I answer your question?
Yeah, that's been hard for me because what sign are you?
I'm a Libra with some Scorpio. What sign are you?
What sign do you think?
I think you're like a Leo or a Scorpio.
Oh, really?
What
Well,
are you? Or a Pisces? No, I don't know.
no, I'm in between those two things. Well, I'm a Libra. Well, so I'm not in between. I'm not in between. I'm in between Virgo and Scorpio. But there's a lot of Scorpio in my family, so I feel like I can have a Scorpio tongue sometimes. And like maybe also how Scorpio is like kind of private. I have a very private side.
Yeah.
I was thinking about today, I was like, I've lived with people and people don't even know who I've dated or lived with. You know, so I have a very private side. So yeah, I'm a Libra, and I feel that I'm very much aesthetic Libra. And so sometimes do you know Martha Lewis, the curator? She curates the Institute Library.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I don't know her well, but I know who you mean, I think.
yeah. So she I was in a show, and then she said she wanted me to draw out my ideas. And so I'd written out my ideas really well. And she said she wanted me to draw out my ideas. I'm like, I don't draw. And I was really resentful. And she's like, just like doodle, it's all right. And it's like, you don't have to be perfect or anything. But I was like, I don't draw. And then I drew out the thing, and it came out exactly like, I mean, I don't draw, but it came like the reason why she had me do it, so it came out exactly how I'd drawn it, you know, and that it wasn't about it looking perfect. It was about me being able to have some kind of visual representation for myself and for her. But I learned the value of, it doesn't have to look perfect. It doesn't have to, I'm not a realist drawer, you know, but I can paint and I can do different things, and it doesn't have to be realist. And I don't know why. I think we do a disservice. And it's not like I don't know all different types of art. Like there's an abstract and this, that, the other, but I don't feel that I'm naturally a visual artist. But I've been playing with like one time for one of these, I was playing with flowers and geometric shapes and doing like red ginger in geometric shapes. And I really want to play with that with like paint. And I think it would look really pretty. It's not going to look like a realistic version of red ginger, but it's going to look at like Nadine's version of red ginger, and that's okay. So but the process of drawing and writing and just getting things out is really good. And that sometimes that's what you need to be able to do. Like I forget that not everything has to be beautiful, but it's kind of like the reason like I don't like baking is because I'm not, that it's very precise, and you can mess up, and if you mess up, I'm not going to eat that bread if it's not doesn't taste good. I don't like, and so I don't like to throw food away. So that's one of the things, like unless there's a whole bunch of people to eat bread and eat the different things, I'm not going to want to do it, because if I mess up, I'm like, I'm not going to want to eat that. As opposed to savory, I know how to be able to make sure that there's a little bit more liberty in savory.
Yeah, I hear you. It seems like, so for me, making art, like improvising, it's all about the rush of connecting with myself through improvisation. And I feel like that's what community is about, you know, to get sparked by someone else. And then making art in community, there's so many like spark potentials. And that's when I feel most alive. So it's like relational, but it relies on my relationship with myself, which is yeah, like the foundation, which is an evolution, right? I guess just like the art, just like the food, maybe.
I love improvisation. That's how I teach people how to cook.
Yeah.
And I like improvisation and art too. I do feel that I would like to, I don't know if you know Nick Cave, he does the what's he known for? The sound suits, but he does all different types of art. And I saw his he did some beautiful installations at Mass Mocha. And I've only been to Mass Mocha once, and I just love it there because I saw at the same time they had a Silhouette show, and they had Silhouette, they had all his stuff. And so when I was a dean, we had one of Silhouette, you know, like his, you know, like you buy a template or whatever, and then people come from his studio and then they draw it in your gallery. So we had that, and that was really fun. So then to go and have 3 floors of all his pieces on the walls, we got to like do ballet in the spaces. It was really fun. So like I have like really good video inside there. But Nick Cave, they also had a huge exhibit, and he had like ginormous pieces. And I'm like, I want to get to the point where I have assistants that can go out to Goodwill and buy all these things, and we put them together into these great sculptures.
Yeah. Yeah. So going big, is it about the going big or just the found objects or all of it?
I don't because I was thinking about scale, like for me, like right now I'm thinking about like I don't really have a studio, and so like I have to I limit kind of the things that I make, and I don't know if I really want to go that huge, because I feel that I think of Aaron Spelling's wife. I don't know what her name is, but they had like the biggest house in the world, and then she packed up all her stuff, and I'm like, I can't remember one black dress from the next. Like sometimes I'm just looking at my clothes because like I can't remember, you know, all these, it's just like so many different things. And then so there's half of me is like more is more. That's how I approach my food. And then but then you're like, keep it simple, you know, kiss. So I vacillate in between, like in regard to my writing being verbose and then knowing it has to be edited down. So it's like I'm a true Libra, like back and forth, back and forth. So but I feel that it would be, I want things to be manageable in my life, but I don't know if I'm thinking small, and I don't have to think about, like Nick Cave is not, he's not thinking about where all that stuff goes. Someone else is. So
yeah, right. I mean, it's about that seems really mindset, and I guess mindset comes from a lot of influences. But right, why? I mean, well, I can think I know some of the reasons why, but why, as an individual, did he say he could do that? What a nice thing to be able to say, I can do this.
yeah. Well, I feel like for myself, like definitely, my mom has always been one of those people who's like, I like to go big on certain things, and I like to go like very involved and detailed. I feel like love is in the details, and I know that some people, like in regard to like if I do programs, people want to do they want to do the easiest thing. I'm like, anyone could do the easiest thing. That's boring. You want to do something that is memorable, like, and so a lot of my programs are memorable, and that's what I want. That's what I'm going for. And in order to do that, like for the Ely, I don't know what show that was, but I did a show called Harvest Mandalas. And so I found this, I don't know if I don't know, I think I found it on the street, this mirror. It was this huge mirror. And I got I got it home and I had to bring it to the Ely house for the installation. And my mom's like, why do you have this mirror? Like, why you bring the mirror? And I started crying. And I'm like, why wouldn't you encourage me to have this beautiful mirror? Like, so she's always one of those people. It's like, you know, to so I think it maybe a little bit comes from that, and then also like feeling like what is like what I can manage. And sometimes I've done lots of big things. Like I mean, I've cooked for 500 people, and
Wow.
with assistance and stuff like that. But still, like
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I still
That's
didn't think I could do
fabulous.
that, and you rise to the occasion.
Mhm.
But I think that with the big shows, I'm like, I have an installation that's in Jersey City, and I just worry about it. I'm like, I hope all my pieces are all together. I wasn't there to pack it up, and I hope all my stuff is there.
Yeah. What is that installation?
Oh, that was an installation. It was a show that I did actually last year. So it's the first show like I curated like myself, and it was based on an installation that I had done in New London called Channeling Oshun, Self-Love is Transformation. And so it's like there's an altar, there's all these different pieces. Amira was in it. Amira was in the show, and she made pieces. Thank you, Amira, for this new, like, she had pieces in another show that we were in, but she made special pieces for this show that was really nice. So Oshun is the Yoruba goddess of love and abundance, and she also rules the kitchen and fertility, and she of water, so she's basically like the mother of life. And so you offer her, when you go to her, you do offerings like oranges, and she has different things, but then also you present your wishes to her, and hopefully she grants your wishes if you are in reverence and grace. So the I am drawn to her from the aesthetics. Like, she loves gold, and I like things that are glittery and shiny. So I was drawn being able, I say to people, it's like I was doing the classy Donald Trump version of a room. So uh so it's very glittery. There's a altar that you can sit down. You do mirror work and you do affirmations. So that's like where my artwork is, like the social sculpture. It's like I'm doing an installation, but then even if I'm not there, like people can participate, and there was different rituals. Like you could smell different things like vanilla and different scents that make you sensual, So yeah. So Amira got her stuff back and other people got their stuff back, but it's like a mirror and different things. And it's been a year, but I guess I'll get it back soon.
Wait, is this what's in New Jersey, or is that a new
Yeah.
show?
No,
Yeah.
it's in New Jersey. Yeah. So I had a show last year. March 6th was the opening, and then the pandemic happened, so we closed down. So it was a really good opening. People were really excited. People were coming from all over because I'd heard about it. Because if you're into the Orishas, which is studying the Yoruba, religion and spirituality, then Oshun is it might be one of your Orishas that you serve. And so people were into it for that reason. And then it's like really pretty. And then there were other artists like Amira and Carrie Mae Weems, and I got a bunch of different people that I've known over the years to participate that are kind of noted artists, and they did different personifications of Oshun. And so it was really pretty beautiful show, and we had different dinners and activities like that to be involved.
It was great, Amira.
Yeah. She didn't get to come to the opening, but it was great.
I did really enjoy the lineup. I didn't get to go. Sorry, I was eating. But
what's for dinner?
Non-meat, plant-based curry stuff.
Yeah. Did you get it out?
The work?
Oh, the food. But I want to hear about you just said you were eating dinner.
Tell her about tell her about the work, like the bathers, the work.
Oh yeah. When I came up with well, I first did the works for like Cultured's show, which Nadine wasn't a part of, and Nadine was like, "Oh my god, I love it." It was like the bathers were more like kind of about reconnecting with the spiritual aspect of family and like those who are not here with us anymore, like kind of being guided, like, you know, in a way. There was an image there where they were like, it's like family helping you float in the pool, like of all this uncertainty. They're there to guide you and keep you afloat. And I made a zine which was composed of 20 illustrations, and then I made like 20 pieces. And then I took some of those pieces to Nadine's show, which actually I made 2 new pieces for Nadine's show, which she graciously invited me to, which was like one about Oshun, which is now belonging to my grandma, and the other one is about like offering and just like that place of like humility and humbleness when you're going to something bigger than you, as well as like her joy, which was like a piece that was just like, you know, I felt like I was channeling during that piece, but like I just thought she was like really happy, like, "Hey, thanks for making the work." And I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." It's in all your favorite colors.
Was her joy a painting, or is it a painting?
It's like a multimedia work.
Cool. What did you use to make it?
I used like, for me, I was connecting with Black ideals of beauty that I grew up with. So like beads from braiding hair, bobos and barrettes. And some illustrations and also a drawing, but I had kind of in envelopes, kind of like you're sending a little message to somebody. So like I combined them all onto like a canvas stretcher and like just glued everything down.
Love it. What about the pool? Like it sounded like the pool of your ancestors.
Oh, the zine?
Yeah.
Yeah, those were like
the zine.
Yeah, that was like 20 illustrations that I did by hand, and then I scanned them and turned them into the book. And yeah, I still have some laying around. I'll like send you one if you would like. Sorry, I'm still eating.
I love that. I'll send you something back. We could DM each other with addresses.
Okay.
Hey, look, I love it when people get together.
How you been doing?
So yeah, that's what I've been trying to push myself, Briah, to do different things. And the curation, I was glad that I did it. It's so much work though. I mean, it's a lot of work. And then also I had to create art. Like the first time around when I did the Oshun exhibit, I knew I was going to be, that was the first time, it wasn't the first time I did an installation, but in that way, in that pointed way, because usually I let things just like come to me, like that's part of my practice too, like abundance and using whatever I have. And I'll go to like Goodwill or Salvation Army, or I'll see a bench on the side of the road or a mirror. And so but I like, this is very pointed. It's like all gold things, and she has all like peacock feather, like she has all these different things. And so that calls into at the end of the month, the last co-create, we're doing goddess boxes. And so we are going to look at 5 goddesses. People will be able to do make their own portable goddess box. So I just set my list of things that Rose will be buying, and then people will get them and they'll be able to make a nice little portable box that will have like crystals and a mirror so people can do mirror work. And we're going to make little dials that you can put like the different directions of like air, fire, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, at the end of the month, I don't know, Rose, are people, can people send those boxes now?
Sorry, you lagged and kind of sounded fast for a moment. Could you repeat what you said?
Can people sign up for the goddess boxes now?
Sure. If they call the library and then ask for me, Rose, then, or I've squared the department, either one will work, then they can reserve their kit.
Yep. This is going to be the best one.
And are you leading the activity, the
Yeah, so it'll
exercise?
be, so we'll make a box and then I'll probably do some rituals.
And
And
sounds wonderful.
like one of the rituals I'll probably do that's really easy is a bay leaf one. Bay leaf is about abundance, and you can write down what you want on a bay leaf and then you burn it. So that's the easy one to do. I haven't finalized everything, but I know that's what I want to do because that's easy.
I'd like to come.
Yeah, I've been trying to add ritual because I like ritual. Ritual is fun.
I think it's powerful.
Yeah.
And fun, right? So engaging.
Yeah, and that the idea that you can manifest the things that you want, because a lot of people don't feel like you can be the architect of your life. And it's amazing, like when you start thinking like that, how many things come together and things that you want. So I've been trying to do that kind of theme. Do you know Nikki Katz?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did a whole art and manifestation, and I'm gonna probably do some more of those because we didn't get to everything. And there's so many different ways in which you can manifest. She did seagulls. Do you know what a seagull is?
No.
Seagull is kind of a pagan symbol thing. So you write down what you want, and then you cross out consonants and these other things, and then you make a design out of the words that are left or the letters left. There's different ways in which you can do it. So she led us in doing that. And you can make a painting, and it's a way that she uses to help to manifest.
Gosh, exciting.
Yeah, we've had fun. I hope Rose, who it's so long for the ride, has had fun.
Have you had fun, Rose?
Yep.
Has Rose been creating along?
I'm working on crochet, except my cat sat on it, so now I'm not. I've been working on a crochet blanket for months because these things take a while.
Yeah.
We created our own time at our own time. I create a lot of different things at the same time because I have my attention span goes all over, so makes it more interesting.
I hear you. What day is your birthday? Mine is the 6th.
Oh, mine is the 5th.
Wow. Yeah, cool.
My aunt's my closest aunt that I was talking about, hers is the 6th.
Love it. Where is she?
She lives in Albany.
Got it.
She lives outside of Albany, in between Albany and she lives in a town called Clifton Park. It's between Albany and Saratoga. I don't know if you know like Lake George. I grew up going to Lake George and stuff like that.
I know very little.
Pretty up there.
I drove up to Montreal once. But I don't know if that was through Vermont, but I imagine
I think it's like probably through Vermont. But I think you can go up that way actually too.
It's the lakes that made me think of that drive. There may be some
Finger
similarity. Lakes? Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up in the Northeast, and I mean, not that you did either. Are you from Canada, or Jamaica and Canada, or?
Yeah, I'm from Canada. So I'm Jamaican, and so I say to people, I was conceived in Jamaica, and then I was born in Toronto. I was hatched in Toronto.
Oh, I love that. Yes, but I don't know upstate New York. I went to a art workshop in Oneonta a billion years ago. That's all I know. But it's
New York is a huge state. It's really big. It's really pretty. I like Hudson. We used to go to Hudson way back when, before it got, popular and all the people from New York went there. We used to go after Thanksgiving like that. We go antique shopping. My aunts like to antique shop, so we go. So pretty. I like Lake George, and Saratoga's really nice too. That's where Skidmore is, and they have I forget who does the jazz festival up there, but they have a jazz festival just like Newport. They have jazz and dance and stuff like that. So I've seen like Shaka Khan and some other people up there.
That's exciting.
So where do you want to go when things open up?
Good question. Thanks for asking. Sarah, who's my business partner, and I participated in CoLab as a duo right when the pandemic hit. So I think I don't know what direction I would have taken otherwise, but that kind of propelled me towards really quickly organizing around popping online and piloting an online experience and like a CSA for art supplies. And that's kind of led us into a few areas. One is bringing art, like workshops for community building, to institutions. We did some for Yale School of Public Health, and we're doing one for UConn. And it's just been people who've come through the studio who noticed how kind of connected and revitalized they felt through art making. And so that's been one exploration. But I think that, what's real and present for me is making a commitment to having a just space, bringing more justice to racial justice, transformational justice to the space. I mean, the original women who came in were moms, and I see their relationship, like how how I was ready to feel like more relationship to my own like heartbeat, and I wouldn't have called it liberation then, just more agency, and the art gave me the sense of connection and agency. And that's been like, I think, a theme for the moms for sure. So I think I know it's about committing to be more equitable in true ways. I was really inspired by the Adrienne Jefferson put on the summit a few weeks ago, and I went to that, and that she's created a pledge and just working towards more actionable items. So right now we're changing our name, and that was kind of in the making anyway. But like scrutinizing our programming and building more like stopgaps even into our website, and then building them into our programming. So I think that growth is what's hot for me. And then also continuing to pay the rent and finding that, those are what I'm up to. It's like, maybe it seems simple, but I don't know. I do know. It has, there is some simplicity to it, and some, I don't always know how to pay the rent. I don't always know how to stand up and dial in. So
what helps you, what in regards to your business, some of the things like I have to tell people, which like when people ask me for advice, when they call and ask for advice, like today I was talking to one of my clients, and I was saying about, she was like wanting to work with a supermarket and wanting to understand about a supermarket. I said, you know, the bottom line of a supermarket is not very high, right? Just so she would know, because oftentimes we spend our time in things that we want to do. Like, I mean, and this is like where I say that a lot of times in regard to my business, a lot of the things that I love to do are not the things that pay the rent. And so what pays the rent for you? Does it coincide with things that you like to do? And I'm trying to, I'm trying to, now, like I would say that the things, I would say 90% of the things that I'm doing are things I like to do. And then 10% are like operational things I don't like to do, and that I'm onboarding someone to help me to do those things I don't like to do. But a lot of times in business, especially when you're starting out though, it's like you have to take things that you might not normally want to in order to, it depends. Like, it depends on if you have been intentional and you can make sure that you find the clients for that fit your demographic. But oftentimes people can't do that. And so they kind of have to, they kind of feel like they have to do everything. So needless to say, it doesn't matter, but I want people to understand, like, well, how did you make the decision to do what you're doing? And are you able to pay your rent? And how are you able to do that? And you can answer that as unobtrusively as possible, because I know that sometimes people don't talk about those things, but I think those things they're practical, and a lot of times that prohibits people from feeling that they can live a creative life, because they don't know how they're going to be able to do that.
I'm totally up for answering it. Will you clarify the question?
So like what things, what services do you have that are your 80 to 20%, like, or whatever, like.
Okay, I think I understand. I mean, I absolutely love being in a space, like watching and witnessing. And I think I used to use the word holding space. But my sister-in-law inspired me, who's a coach and a leader and is doing some pretty cool work, inspired me to think about opening space. So I think for me, opening space and witnessing and being witnessed in community making art, which is what we were doing at my studio, like 3-hour art groups for women. And it was really open studio, and it felt pretty organic, and that really lights me up. Going forward, I think that the jobs building like during COVID especially, or when so many businesses, schools, etc., are going online, just the value of being able to see one another in a light that's not, all about hierarchy or the hierarchy of educator student is super valuable. And so building community in that space has a lot of value through art, especially. I think people can, talk and share when they're making art, like we are right now, I guess, in a way that's maybe more organic or less inhibited. And then the social justice piece, I think, for me is, there's the letting go of niceness. Not that I don't want to be nice, but like letting go of the people pleasing and the fear around that, and just building. And I don't know my road exactly. I know that I want to create a space where there's an agreed upon standard, I guess. That's the best languaging I can come up with right now. But I want people to like be required to read White Fragility or take some kind of test that pushes their boundaries, or that they're just like, yeah, absolutely, if they're white, before being in that space making art, so they're not re-traumatizing. And I need to, if I'm in that space as a leader, I'd like to co-lead more, actually. I guess that's my dream too, to co-lead and be expanded and expand what's possible through co-leadership. But yeah, I think claiming like my truth out loud is the beginning through how I put myself into the world, like my website, which is next. And then standing by that is the continuation of putting that into the world.
Thank you. Here's my first collage. So I still haven't done my vision board for 2021. So this is
Wait.
this is my portable vision board. So this is one sheet. This is my self-care sheet.
Wow.
I don't know if you can see it because of the glare. Can you?
Kind of.
I can kind of see it. And my eyesight isn't as it was, but
oh, so there's Halle Berry, like she represents kind of like Oshun, and it says healthy body. And then there's a person in lingerie, and it says celebrate something extraordinary, which is myself, because I think that oftentimes we don't, like, self-care is about celebrating yourself and feeling okay to celebrate yourself. And oftentimes I feel like in America we look at self-care as something that is to celebrate as opposed to something that we should do every day, which is celebrate yourself, you know? So let your spirit soar, because when you're doing self-care, you're taking care of your spirit, and that helps you to show up and feel joyful and feel good and feel like you're ready to fly. And whatever makes you beautiful, that's like what self-care is all about. So like for me, like internally, I know that when cooking is meditation for me. So it's not only just about like nourishment, it's about like doing the meditation. And that I know that when I take time to make lunch every day, for instance, since I'm home, that fortifies me and I feel really good eating from my own hands. You know, I'm not one who wants to, I want to support businesses and everything, but I'm not one who wants to like buy a whole bunch of takeout and stuff like that. I like to eat food from my own hands. And I like to eat food from people that I know, because I know like what they put into the food. I like to buy food from like farmers that I know, because when you're eating their food, you know that they love what they do and you can feel that high vibration in the food. You know, so here is like just making sure that I'm trying to get into the yoga practice. Like today I went for a walk and it's been really cold and I love being outside and I like doing exercise, but when it's cold, it's really hard for me. So I'm trying to get into the whole health and healthy body, like I'm supposed to do my yoga certification. So it's the end of the year.
Mm.
So, but I have to get into yoga practice before I can get into my yoga certification. So I want to get into that, doing that more like 5 times a week. So this is my self-care, like putting myself first. So self-love,
Mhm.
self-care, self first. So
I
that's
love
what
it.
so
I feel like that's the key for this time, like is the deepening the self-love. And I've been deepening my practices too. And here are the hands I'm cutting them out of paper bags that I painted. I'm really into using paper bags right now.
Okay.
And yeah. But yeah, like what's possible when we love ourselves? I'm exploring that.
what is possible when you love yourself?
Everything. I mean, so much. I mean, what I do for self-care, yeah, moving, fresh air. I'd like to connect more around nourishing food. I mean, I eat nourishing food, but I'm not always deep in the labor of love. But I believe in like working with my hands for sure. But I love that connection between food. But I think for me, it's been like my nervous system has been really sensitive during COVID and
Okay.
over the last many months. So it's more like working with my vagus nerve and Reiki and breathing and like trying to go deep through the body to connect with my spirit in that way. But yeah, just to be in my body more.
Do you do like somatic stuff like therapy exercises or?
Yeah. I mean, I don't lead them, but I have been participating in them and feeling really grateful to be doing that. Like recognizing that value and seeking it out.
Yeah, I like that. I like also I like Reiki. Do you do EFT too?
No. Do you?
Yeah, I like EFT. Like EFT really helps with my depression because I feel like a lot of people like those touch things. Like I like to teach people how to do hand yoga, the hand mudras and stuff
Ooh.
like that. Those are things that people can do because no one's gonna want to like unnecessarily touch each other even before COVID, like, but to show people that you can, the touch that you want others, you can touch yourself. So,
Yeah.
so the hand yoga and then the EFT, I feel like it's like meridians. So it opens up a lot of things like when I'm stuck on something. So I was feeling like there's things I was procrastinating on, and so I needed motivation. So I was saying to someone that helps me with my operations and administrative stuff. So I was saying like, well, so I got up and I did meditation on motivation and stuff like that. But I was like doing EFT. It's like, I'm doing EFT to motivate, like stop procrastinating. And then I was playing like binaural beats. But I woke up, I was like, okay, let's do this. I got a lot of stuff done on Monday. So I've been
God.
trying to, but I like EFT because you can do it for different things. I've been doing it a lot for receiving, like being good about receiving. But I did it yesterday or 2 days ago, I did it for motivation and procrastination. But I like it because I do it double. And I just feel that you do the meridians and then you just feel really good afterwards.
I actually have enjoyed a little bit of EFT, and I forgot that when you asked. But yeah, it's and I've just like enjoyed someone on YouTube that a friend sent me a link to,
Mhm.
but it was I felt it, and like whenever I remember to return to that, it's real.
Yeah, and it's like it's free,
Yeah.
you know, and you just feel good afterwards. I feel like you do really feel good. And I like to make people figure out ways in which they can make themselves feel good.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think you answered the question about where do you want to go.
So when COVID is over, where do I want to go with my work?
Or no, like where do you want to leave, like go on a trip?
Oh, where I want to go geographically?
Yeah. I don't know. Or I mean, it could, some people haven't been doing anything at all. So it could be to New York. It could be, like.
Yeah. I have this little brother, and do you have one of those?
Yeah. He's in, my youngest brother is in Hong Kong.
Wow. That's exciting.
Yeah. It was exciting before COVID, and then now they probably want to cut stuff short because they thought people were going to be able to come visit them, and then no, in order to go and visit, you have to do, I don't even know if you could go and visit, but his wife had to bring back their child to visit family during the holidays, and then she had to quarantine for 14 days in China that you have to pay for.
Brutal.
So I don't know yeah, so that wasn't what they were expecting. So I don't know I don't know if we're gonna be able to go. They're supposed to be, I think, want to be there for 3 years. I don't know if they want to do all of that.
Got it. Well, like in terms of the art and what lights me up, which is like purpose-driven business, I don't feel like my like I could never fully hook on to a capitalistic vision. Like when people are like, what do you want to call in? I want, 1 million followers and this much money. I could never come up with any of that. And yet I feel like I'm, working with my relationship to capitalism and the toxicity there. And like when I read Emergent Strategy at the beginning of last summer, that felt like a real key to unlock a process of becoming that was, intentionally connected to my intuition, but also maybe intentionally or in a relaxed relationship with like my vision. So I think, I know I'm just following my intuition and trying things during COVID because it's been a space for that. Because all of my jobs closed and this is available to me. And so I don't have big answers there. But I just want whatever I do to be out of a growth, not oriented towards any kind of unhealthy hustle, moving away from that. And then I think in terms of where I might like to go, it's geographically, I think it's just to see family. And my brother moved kind of from Portland, Oregon to the middle of nowhere.
Where?
Near Devil's Canyon he's in Oregon near Utah.
Okay.
And he was like following a kind of strange dream, I guess. Not strange dream, but following nature. And he works remotely. And so I think I'd like to go visit him. I mean, nature is big for me. Like I grew up off the grid in the mountains on a intentional community. And that was actually what I was thinking last night before I was falling to bed. This term, I like to define where I grew up. I also grew up in cities, but the intentional community as opposed to like,
Where was it?
haphazard in the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Okay.
There are a lot of communities in this one county called Floyd. It's kind of they're into like, the Republic of Floyd. It's offbeat and beautiful, and people come from like all over the world and end up there. And I wasn't coming from all over the world, but the point is, the point around intentional is that there are other communes in that county where people were, doing drugs and other crazy things. Who am I to say crazy? But it felt like more reckless situations. And the community that I was at was much more around like organic gardening, meditation, and more wellness promoting practices. And not that it was utopian, and it exploded, etc. Not literally, but things fall apart. But that intentionality was something I was excited to like reconnect to as a word even, and a concept. So I think nature is a big part of that for me.
Yeah, I like nature too.
Yeah. What's your entry point? I mean, are you a water? Are you an earth? What do you follow? Like, you could go anywhere.
I like the beach, but I like more and more. I can appreciate, I've always liked lakes because I grew up 7-Day Adventist, and 7-Day Adventists they're into nature and camps. So I grew up going to camp outside of Ontario, outside of Toronto in Ontario. And so, horseback riding and hiking and all that kind of stuff. But then I also grew up going back and forth to Jamaica for my vacations. And so my grandparents live by the ocean. They have our family house is right across from the ocean, and we have farmland, and my grandfather was a fisherman. So I just always grew up, like in nature. And just Toronto, even though it's a huge city, there's so like you can go hiking and get lost in a ravine. They have ravines in the middle of Toronto, and huge parks and small parks. And so I've always, and then, moving to New Haven when I was 10 and finding out about Frederick Law Olmsted and his properties here. Like, so I found a new love for like urban parks and stuff like that. So I like going out in the boonies, but I like to come back to nature. I remember I had an ex-boyfriend, and he wanted to go camping on West Rock. And so he lived in Westville. So we went up there, and then at 12 o'clock, I was like, okay, I'm done. I've had enough. I want to go back now. And I always say, like, I don't mind camping, but I like to glamp. Like I'm not sleeping on the floor. I want to have a cabin or like be in a yurt and have some electricity.
Yeah. What about food and camping? What happens there? I
haven't camped. Like, I've never slept outside. Like, when I go camping, when we used to go camping at our 7-Day Adventist camp, we stayed in the cabins.
Mm-hmm.
I was so glad that my aunt did that.
Chose the cabins?
Yeah, she chose the cabins. She was a Libra. That's a Libra.
She didn't. Yeah, I honestly, I'm not a huge camper, but I want to be as far out as I would if I like to camp. I mean, yeah, that's my ideal. I'm kind of afraid of the wild. Like, I think
Yeah,
in a
that's
way
the thing. Yeah, me too.
I think it maybe, it's like, I feel very courageous when I'm in the wild because I'm afraid. Are you a good swimmer?
Yeah, I'm a really good swimmer because I took lessons in America and, you know, Canada. My mom, you know, because I went to Jamaica. Like most women in Jamaica, I don't know about how it is now, but growing up, most women, like my mom is one of the only people, I think there's only two of my aunts that really know how to swim, and they don't know how to like by swim, I mean, like I go in the ocean, I go far out, and people are like, oh my God, come back in. And I'm like, I know how to swim. It's okay. Women do know how to swim. So because I took lessons, I went all the way up to being a lifeguard. I didn't want to be a lifeguard. So I didn't finish that. But just swimming in Jamaica and the ocean, that makes you a strong swimmer. And I live in a condo complex, and in the summertime, like last year was the first year that our pool was closed, so that sucked. But I go swimming every day if I can.
Cool.
If it's not raining, I'll go swimming. It's a great thing for Soleil and I to do. And the people in my complex, like I don't know if you know Lucy, from Nasty Women. Yeah, so we live across from each other.
Oh yeah.
So
cool.
you know, she go like it's like things like, you know, like you go there after camp every day, and it's just like one of the things that it's just easy to do, and it's fun, and I love it. It's good exercise too.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's exercise. So it's one of the only things I don't feel it's exercise. I like doing it. I dream for my own pool one day. I want my own pool, I want an inside pool, and I want an outside pool.
I love it. Sounds good.
Maybe
Where are these pools?
Maybe I'm being too capitalistic. Where are these pools going to be? I don't know where I want to live. I kind of feel like I want to move back to Boston. I've been trying to do that. I think Boston's always been great for me professionally. And I feel like people in Boston get me. I don't feel like people necessarily in New Haven really get me that much. So it's kind of frustrating when you want to do certain projects and go certain places. And I find I have people understand what I'm doing more like in New York and in Boston.
I want to thank you for inviting me on, and I feel honored to be in your space.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I feel inspired by what you're up to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel inspired by what you're up to. I always love art therapy. I think that, I don't know. I mean, I guess when I was an administrator, I was on the wellness team. I was on the wellness team. So I've always been around, well, the schools I've been in there, they look at the whole child. So, oh, it's fine. Maria Faye, it's you're not eavesdropping at all. You can talk about anything. I'm about to ask Bria if she wants me to do her cards. If you want me to do your cards, I can do that, but you're never eavesdropping. It's all about the process. If you want to talk and be included or ask a question or make an observation, please feel free.
You said cards. What do you mean?
Oh, I do I have different cards. So I have your inner goddess cards. I don't know if you're familiar with Doreen Virtue. She doesn't do cards anymore. She's on a whole Christian bent, but she still has the cards and they're really good. I love her cards.
I'm laughing. I have a friend who's really into her. I've tried to go on the website and I couldn't get into it, But
well, that's why I was making the joke. Well, now she, like, even though I was raised Christian, she's a very, like, kind of holy rollerish, I think. Like,
yeah,
I
and I'm
mean,
not. I was raised Catholic, and I'm trying to recover from it. So.
well, since you said you're recovering, I'm a recovering Seventh-day Adventist. And so
Oh.
when she went into, like, I call these, like, there's certain religions, like recovering religions, like Catholicism, being a Mormon, you know, Seventh-day Adventist, you know, maybe, you know, it depends on, you know, like how you do religion. So,
Right.
so when I loved her. I mean, I still love her. I mean, you know, but when she went in that direction, I was like, oh no, 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 no. But she's still, the cards are really good. And it came out of nowhere. Actually, if you're following her, it just went one day, it was just like, what happened? Like,
Really?
so
That's funny.
so I have cards that I made. So Briah, I made these cards for an installation that it was at the Ely house called Kitchen Sanctum. And
Okay.
so it was a space that celebrated, like, it was for the whole exhibit was celebrating, I think, the 60th anniversary of Our Bodies Ourselves. So this
Oh,
whole
wow.
installation, pardon?
I said, oh wow.
Yeah, it was a really beautiful exhibit of work that personified that. And so Kitchen Sanctum was the whole idea of, like, the kitchen is a sanctuary um like a homage to women, and how oftentimes, like, domestic arts or cooking or the things that women do, they're kind of disregarded, but they're very sacred, and they're things that should be looked at as sacred. And so I made these cards. That was the first time I made cards, and they were a way in which to activate conversation, because sometimes when people come into an installation, including myself, we don't know each other and it can be a little weird. And so these were cards that people would sit down, I would do their cards, and if they wanted, and it would spark conversation. And so I have the affirmation cards. So they're based on, like, affirmations with our body, ourselves. And then I have flower cards
Oh my gosh, decisions.
that personify. I usually do one of my cards and then one of the goddess cards, because
Okay.
that's usually what people want.
Okay.
So, and these are easy because they're just, the other ones I have to read and interpret, but these are kind of easy. So the flower cards are, you know, like women's genitalia and all of that was, you know, symbolically looked at as flowers. And so flowers have different meanings, and probably in Catholicism they use florology, but then in Victorian times, in Muslim countries, they use florology. So I like symbols, and so I do. I'm gonna just show you something. I don't know if, I don't think I'm finished it, but I just I want to put it out there since we're talking about manifestation. So I vacillate between, I'm always pleasantly single, but I vacillate between, like, wanting a partner, and then sometimes my friends, you know, so, but then being the trauma that I grew up in, being like the runaway bride, because I it's not that I have a hard time finding people or finding me. It's like feeling whether I can be with someone. I don't know if it's about worthiness or self-doubt, or feeling, I feel like a lot of it is like feeling like the way that I look at union is like about control. And we were talking about signs. I feel like I have an Aquarius in me also, Briah, that I like to be free, and Sagittarius, like to travel, like I have to movement, like, you know, being in one place during the pandemic has been good because I've produced a lot, and I've been able to sit down and, you know, be one with myself and not run away, and develop like a connection to myself in a different way. But then I also feel that when I'm with somebody, like I can do like 24 to 48 hours, and then I'm like, okay, that was great. All right, bye. I'll see you the next time, you know? So I'm trying to cultivate.
Oh, you're a vision board.
So it's a portable vision board. So
funny.
So I did self-care here, Maria.
Okay.
And now I'm working on partnership and love.
Those are two lovey-dovey couples that you got going there.
Yeah, well, it's like Holly Pete and her husband. And well, we never know what's going on with people, but they seem like
I
they're
know.
genuinely they
That's
seem
right.
like they're genuinely happy. And some random people that just look like they're happy, because I kind of look at being with someone like kind of like an anchor,
Mhm.
and not in a, not in a good way. So I'm trying to look at the joy, and I've had I would say like the people I've gone out with, six, I don't want to, like, I'm trying to put out there the things I like. I would say like I have good relationships in general, but like feeling like that 365 days like every day just seems like an awful lot. So yeah. So
That's funny.
I just wanted to throw that out there because I could not. And if you're trying to manifest something, you might as well just put it out there on Facebook and like tape it. And maybe my
That's right.
partner is watching this video
Exactly.
randomly.
That's right. I forgot that you're going to be, this is on Facebook too. That's funny.
Nadine, I think about Aquarius and Sagittarius, especially Aquarius, as being really progressive. And you
Yes.
seem really progressive. And maybe your relationship like is meant to be progressive, right? Like not 365. That's such an old container.
Well, that's, yes, right. And that's the thing, like I want a progressive relationship, but I think that there's many, I think that if I was a lesbian, I'd be more successful than being a middle-aged woman at this time. You know, we're in the age of Aquarius. I think that more, you know, well, I'll just say I'm putting out, I would like to find, because I'm heterosexual, a man that is progressive. And some of the questions that I ask a man, I did a comedy. Did any of you guys do, Maria, are you from New Haven?
No, I'm not. I'm actually from Connecticut near Rhode Island.
Okay. How did you find out about this?
You know, I found out because, well, I attended your cooking thing. Your
Okay.
cooking classes thing. Sorry.
Thank you.
The cooking classes. And then I just got on the library website to see what was going on. And I saw you, and I saw art therapy. I saw, what is your name? I'm sorry, Briah, is it Briah?
Bria.
I saw your name with art therapy, and I, just was attracted to the topic. So.
Oh, great. Thank you for being here. So, I don't know what I was just saying beforehand.
You were talking.
Well, you were the cards.
So I was saying about, community leadership
the
project.
man.
Oh yeah, so community leadership project. So have you done that, Briah?
You were asking questions. You asked the man questions.
Yes.
I applied and I didn't get in, and I intend to try and apply again.
Yes, you should do it again. So for anyone that doesn't know, I say to people, it's kind of hard to explain. I say it's a process-oriented leadership program. And so whatever you bring to that process is really up to you. Like they do really great facilitation around leadership, but then it takes on its own metamorphosis depending on the people that you're in your group with and who's leading and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know why I felt the need, like, so the girls from Margaret was in my group, and I think that I think they had something to do with me just deciding that I was going to do 5 minutes of comedy. And so I had to write, I was like, okay, I'm going to do 5 minutes of comedy. And I'm like, what can I do comedy about that would be really easy? And so dating or lack thereof is what I did. So I asked men 3 questions. So I asked, if they are a feminist, if they believe in feminism, because if they don't believe in feminism, there's no reason for us to be together. I think I asked them more like if they believe in gay rights, because if they don't believe in gay rights, I don't think they believe in feminism. I think that, and I don't want to go out with a person that's homophobic because I just can't stand to hear that talk. and I asked them, oh, they believe in climate change.
Well, that's a
Because if
good
they
one.
don't believe in climate change,
Yeah.
then I have nothing for them.
That tells a lot about a person.
Exactly. So I like these questions that say a whole lot. Like you could just ask and you're like, okay, then I can see about all these other things about whether there's like a sense of compatibility. And then there was another question that I'm not going to embarrass Rose with, that I don't know how to necessarily ask that question, but it's more like, you know, do you take any medications outside of vitamins? Do you know? So those are so yeah, so I'm trying to be a little bit better about the prospects about dating, because it's hard out here. It's hard.
Yeah.
All right. So enough about that.
So
I have 2 sets of cards. So Briah, you get to do your goddess cards. So which one would you want? Do you want Doreen Virtue, or would you like Alana Fairchild?
I can't hear. She's like, I can't decide. Eeny, meeny, miny. Which one's going to be the most? Let's see. What am I looking for? Are some of them more like giving you guidance?
They both give you guidance.
They both do.
Just say which one you're drawn to. Don't overthink it.
Okay.
I said Briah was gonna go first, but you can go first, Maria. It's all right.
Oh no, I didn't.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
Hearing Briah and Maria, I didn't.
Yeah, no, it's all right.
Maria can go first.
Maria, it's a classic, the Briah Maria thing.
Yeah.
So we're playing it out right here, and it's totally fun. And I was muted when you asked, Nadine.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Maria, all right, let's go.
Okay. I forget the name. The one with the red heart on it. Let me do that.
Okay. I knew you were gonna go for that one. I like them. I just got these cards, so I like playing with them because you have to get to know your cards. And so I got 2 also tarot decks, but they're really one of them I really like. The other one I'm getting to know. It takes some time. The tarot's harder. So they're really pretty cards.
Oh yeah, they're cute. I like that.
Yeah, they're very pretty artwork.
Nadine,
Yes.
can I say I'm sorry if my phone was dinging? You may have,
no.
I don't know if it was me, but
No, we didn't hear it. I
and
didn't hear it, at least.
Did you notice I wore my Canada sweatshirt for you?
Oh, I didn't. Oh,
I do wear it
no.
other
Oh.
days, but I was like, I'm gonna.
Oh, I like it. All right, so Maria, tell me when to stop.
Okay. Stop.
All right. Do you want me to pick from the bottom, the middle, or the top?
The middle.
All right, Gypsy.
Oh boy.
I've gotten that card before. So just before like I start reading, why do you think you got that card, Maria? Because I don't know you. So if I know someone, I can infer more, but I always ask people like, why do you think that you got this card? And then when I read what is on the card, then I say, do you feel like this resonates with you? So why do you think you got this card, just not knowing what it's all about? Gypsy.
Well, what came up for me, not thinking specifically about gypsies, is but the idea that I'm kind of floundering as to where I belong. So kind of, I mean, I'm not able to wander, but there's kind of this sense of wanting to wander somewhere. And that's about all that came up for me.
Okay. All right. In the reading, you're encouraged to say yes to new opportunities and adventures, ideas, and connections. Before I read this, I'll just offer this to you. Even though we cannot physically move, we can do a lot of movement and a lot of travel online. And I know a lot of people are saying I'm tired of Zoom, but I think it's different when you Zoom with people. Amira, who's an artist that was on here for a little while, left. We've had like a couple art dates, for instance. We've had an art date in person, like in the summertime, we had a picnic, socially distanced picnic, but then we have art dates like maybe like once a month for like a couple hours, usually on a Saturday night or afternoon, and it's great. I just on the full moon, I started a ritual with one of my friends. I was in residency with, and she's actually been on the show too, Lauren Klein. Every full moon, we do readings for each other. And so we're on Zoom for 3 hours.
Wow.
Okay. Cause like Zoom is different like for a meeting than it is like when you're connecting with someone, because it's not, like I don't like, I had to change a meeting so we could finish our reading, but I didn't want to get off I want us to have our space, like we have our little once a month kind of thing. So I wanted us to be able to do that. And I didn't expect for it to be 3 hours, and it was, but I just wanted to offer that to you, that you can go many different places, even if you can't necessarily go physically.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think I'm kind of living an isolated life right now.
Yeah.
So I don't, and I've always, like, I hear these people having these little Zoom parties and things like that, and I'm always envious of it. And I can see even just, I mean, you can't see me right now. I can see the two of you, and I can see how there can be an intimate gathering of just 2 or 3 people, 2 or 3, 4 or 5 people talking over the fact, different from having these webinars and things where people are sitting there talking with the Brady Bunch screen,
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's a lot different when it's just one-on-one, or it's like, 3 people, and also just doing an activity, because like we're doing cards, or Amira and I, like she's doing her art practice, I'm doing my art practice. So it's not this sense of self-consciousness that can happen, like where there's lulls in conversation, and so I just want to, that came up. So I just wanted to offer that before I started. So especially the ones that fill your heart with a sense of excitement. So I'll start over again. You're encouraged to say yes to new opportunities and adventures, ideas and connections, especially the ones that fill your heart with a sense of excitement, perhaps just before your mind begins to dwell on doubts and concerns, trying to talk you out of something before you even give it a chance. You can handle the unfamiliar better than most. Once you get your bearings, you find a way to thrive, to enjoy what you discover and experience. Let the yearnings of your soul to explore the new and exciting inspire you. The unfamiliar and the unknown hold great blessings for you. Open yourself up to new horizons. Spiritual guidance. There's wanderlust in your soul, the heart quest for new worlds and amazing experiences. You're supposed to feel this way. You have a gypsy soul that will always seek out something new and different. This is just how your life is meant to be, a divine adventure. And there is an adventure that is meant just for you. Places to see, people to meet, experiences to have. You're meant to go on a journey inside of yourself and out in the world. You're meant to explore a world bigger than the one you currently know. It's going to happen. Trust in divine timing. Be open to what your life has in store for you. Maybe you are afraid, a little afraid, and wonder if you're brave enough. Quick answer, you are brave enough, and then some. Maybe you worry that you have missed your chance, but you cannot miss your destiny. It is right here waiting for you, and your gypsy soul is going to grow and fulfill even more of your purpose for which you were born. Find a place where you can stand comfortably, say aloud through unconditional love, I give the universe permission to guide me on a divine adventure. I trust the gypsy in my heart, which urges me to explore the new and unfamiliar and to make the entire world home. I am curious and open, and I trust that I'll be looked after as I make my soul journey. Then open your arms wide if you are embracing your future, the adventures that are meant for you, and all the beautiful blessings that life will bring you. For now, you are open, ready, and willing to receive. Gently scoop up all those good things and accept them into your heart. So I would just say, Maria, that these are always taped, that you can find it on the library page and then go back and write down that message and then say that out loud. Okay?
Great, thank you. That was
You're
great.
welcome. And then you get another reading. It's only these cards. So would you like the affirmation cards, or what would you like to bloom?
The flowers.
I knew you were gonna pick those two. So all right, I'm gonna spread these out.
Okay.
All right, tell me where you want me to pick.
I always like the middle.
Okay. I got 2
We
cards.
get 2.
Yeah. So I got bluebells, humility and kindness, and I got King Prussia. You see?
I've heard of that one before, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's Protea. So just write them down so you can look them up. So Bluebells is humility and kindness, and King Prussia is change, transformation, and daring resourcefulness. So I think that for your gypsy heart, you know what you're supposed to do. You can find different places to go online. And then now that spring is coming, you can find things to probably do outside and find ways to connect with nature, and also find ways to connect to yourself too. There's journeys that we can have for ourselves when we, like the different classes that you're taking, they all open you up to do different journeys. And
Right.
to people like myself, you're here with me again. I appreciate that so much. All right.
Yeah, this is really an interesting experience that I didn't expect.
I know, it's so, I love that it's random. Like Bria's like everyone beforehand, they're like, what is it? What are we gonna expect? What should I know? What should I do? What should I prepare for? And I'm like, it's nothing, just come as you are, whatever you want to do. I know it's like weird for people. But
I want to ask.
I love it. I love
want
it.
to ask you, do you either of you have ideas for online, like traveling kind of things? I found a couple of things, and when I tried to sign up for them, it didn't work. Like they were asking for my credit card. It said it was free, but then they were asking for my credit card. They were doing like a tour of some place, and I mean, it doesn't have to be that. I mean,
I don't know, like what there's different organizations in Boston, like Walk Boston or Walk New York. I don't know. There is if you send me an email, then I can it's just Nadine.Nelson. If you send me an email, I don't remember the name of this group that is out of New York. One of my cookbook friends, they said one of their friends was doing a tour, and it was like on opera and France, and it was really good. I did one on the Bronx and Arthur Avenue, which is like Worcester Square and the North End, and that was really cool. And so they're like $10. But that's not a lot of money, and there were 2 hours, and it was really interesting,
Okay, thanks.
All right, I have a couple more minutes, Briah, so let me do your cards. Which ones do you want? Doreen Virtue?
Doreen, Doreen, please, and I'll take from the top.
Okay. All right, so tell me when to stop.
That's great. Stop, please.
So, Abundanita, which is prosperity, and the universe is pouring its abundance out to you. Be open to receiving. One of the things I've been working on is receiving. I said, like the divine feminine and receiving, because I'm so used to like doing like everything myself, and
yeah.
So just being open to be receiving and being grateful for what I receive.
Thank
so
you.
The universe is pouring its abundance out to you. Be open to receiving. A message. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. You're very powerful. I'm here to support your growing power. It's right for you to receive this help as we function as a team. I've heard your prayers, worries, and affirmations. I'm pouring my cornucopia of prosperity upon you now. So expect unforeseen windfalls and gifts. Notice the new ideas, feelings, and visions within you. This guidance gives you clear direction about actions to take in conjunction with my assistance. Together, we're unstoppable. Various meanings of this card. Be open to receiving. A new windfall of money is coming to you. You have nothing to worry about. Your new venture will be financially successful. Visualize and affirm abundance. Abundance comes to you in many ways, including extra time, support, and ideas. Abundanita is a beautiful Roman and Norse goddess of prosperity, success, and abundance, who is said to bring good fortune and financial windfalls to all who call upon her. She carries a cornucopia of golden coins, which trail her wherever she goes. One sign that she's with you is that you'll find lots of spare change in unlikely locations, and rest assured that Abundanita brings more than pocket money to those who call upon her. She bestows all kinds of prosperity, including increased amounts of time, ideas, and other forms of support. So I didn't ask you, why do you think that you got that card?
Yeah, I think it's like to trust the process and not worry about that piece of it. So it's like it's shoring up that piece of it, maybe so that I can trust my spirit.
Great.
Flowers.
So, all right. I knew you were going to choose those two. So tell me when to stop.
Please stop.
And do you want me to pick from the top?
Please.
So you got White Jasmine, Sweet Love.
I'm in. Thank you.
You're
Beautiful.
Well, thank you. So this has been great. It's so wonderful to get to know you better, Briah, and your process and the many different things that you do and your philosophy. Maria, I don't know, we, at the end of the month, on March 31st, we're doing, I don't know if you can come to the library to get a kit, but we're doing portable goddess altars. But even if you can't do it, it would be nice for you to participate if you have a box, and you'll learn how to make a portable goddess box that you'll be able to have different things that the library, myself, are going to be providing. But next week we have Ife Michelle, who is part of the Elm City Lit Fest, who will be here on Co-Create. At also the last Monday of the month, we do Meatless Mondays, and we're doing the Blue Zones, which are groups of people who live to over 100. And not only will we be talking about what they eat, but how they live, because that goes hand in hand. Yeah. I want to say thank you so much, Briah, for coming. You'll see me a little bit more during March at 1 o'clock. And can you please talk about that? Just close out, because that's a wonderful, Maria, wonderful community to be part of.
Thank you. Thanks, Nadine. So my inspiration was how nice it would be during quarantine to see friendly faces and new faces at every day, even to break the loneliness. So I created something called Women's Art Reset, and it's 100 days ending on March 22nd of 20 minutes of art making every day at 10 minutes of art making, like a 5-minute meditation and 5 minutes of sharing. And if you'd like to find us, it's at womenswork.space.
And it's a really wonderful community. As Briah said, people come in and out, including myself, and it's a judgment-free zone. I love the meditation beforehand, and you can work, like, that's where I started doing, Briah, the geometric flowers, where I said, like, okay, this week that I'm on here, I'm gonna work on my drawing, so it's really nice to see what people make. It's really nice that people share. It's very uplifting, high vibrational, and very inspirational. So thank you, Rose, as always. And
thanks, Rose.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Yes. And Ria, you can get that information about the cards at the end of the video. So I encourage you to say that out loud, so it creates the life that you deserve and that you would like. Bye, everyone.
All right. Good night.
Thanks, Nadine.
Good night. Thank you, everyone.